My esteemed sister and brother judges, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman Enrollment Committee, Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Abhijat, Secretary, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Standing Counsel Civil, Government of NCT of Delhi, Standing Councils of the Central and State Government, Executive Members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Office Bearers of the Bar Council of Delhi and other district bar associations, Senior Advocates, Members of the Bar, family members of late Justice P.N. Nag, family members of late Justice R.P.GUPTA, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense sense of sadness that we have assembled today to condole the demise of Mr. Justice Padam Nag, former judge of this court and the Allahabad High Court, and Mr. Justice Ram Prakash Gupta, former judge of this court, Calcutta High Court, and Madhya Pradesh High Court. Justice P.N. Nag was born on 5th March 1933. He came from a humble background. He did his schooling from Government High School, Shahpur, District Kangra, Himachal Pradesh, and graduation from Government Degree College, Dharamshala. His college was located at a distance of 22 kilometers from his village, where he would often tread on foot to save on bus fare. Justice Nag was active in student politics and was elected as the president of the Dharamshala College Students Union Association. He served as a direct recruit assistant in the Government of India for 6 years, and thereafter decided to enroll himself in law in the evening classes of University of Delhi. He would go to the university on his bicycle. Soon, the legal profession beaconed him, and Justice Nag resigned from his job to start his legal practice in the year 1965 by enrolling himself as an advocate. He started his legal practice in the district courts at Dharamshala, and thereafter he moved to the Himachal Pradesh High Court and Delhi High Court in 1966. From 1981 onwards, he started practice before the Supreme Court of India. As an advocate, he got an opportunity to appear before stalwarts like Justice H.R. Khanna, Justice Hardy, and Justice Tatachari. Justice Nag not only set up a lucrative practice in Delhi High Court, but he was also appointed as legal advisor to the Himachal Pradesh University, Himachal Pradesh Agricultural University, the Mines and Industrial State Development Corporation of Himachal Pradesh, and others. He also appeared before the Supreme Court of India in many important cases, such as Pradeep Jain versus Union of India, which ruled on the important issue surrounding reservation of seats in postgraduate colleges, and in Ram versus Ishwar Chand, which interpreted Order 2, Rule 2 of the CPC relating to claims and what constitutes relinquishment of claims. He was popular at the bar and was elected as Vice President of the Himachal Pradesh High Court Bar Association. He was appointed as the Advocate General on 5th May 1983 for the state of Himachal Pradesh. Justice Nag was appointed as a permanent judge of Delhi High Court on 12th October 1988, and after serving here for about 5.5 years, he was transferred to the Allahabad High Court on 28th April 1994, till his retirement on 5th March 1995. During his tenure as a judge, he decided many cases on varied issues of social significance. Post-retirement, he was appointed as the president of the Himachal Pradesh State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission on 9 July 1996 and served there for a period of 4 years. He also held additional charge as the chairman of the Himachal Pradesh State Commission for Backward Classes. He served as a member of the advisory boards of the National Security Act and the COFEPOSA board. He also presided over the Unlawful Activities Prevention Tribunal. He was a courageous judge who did not shy away from taking up assignments. He presided over the tribunal constituted to ban the dreaded LTTE and another tribunal to ban Islamic Seva Sangh, ISS, under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. His finest quality was his innate humanity. Those who knew him well would always remember him as such. He took active interest in charity and even established a trust in the name of his father to help the distressed. He loved listening to old classic songs sung by Talat Mahmood and Mohammad Rafi. He would keenly follow international politics. Justice Nag left for his heavenly abode on 11 September 2021 and is survived by his sons Anil Nag, who is an advocate practicing in Supreme Court, Abhilash Nag, who is an advocate practicing in Dharamshala, Anuj Nag, who is an advocate practicing in the High Court of Himachal Pradesh, and his family members. I, on behalf of my sister and brother judges, and on my own behalf, convey our heartfelt condolences to the members of the bereaved family and pray to the Almighty to give them strength to bear this irreparable loss. May the Almighty bestow peace to the departed soul. We have also assembled here to condole the passing away of Justice R.P.GUPTA. Justice Gupta was born on 1st December 1937. He did his matriculation from a high school in Gurgaon and graduation in BA Honours English from Punjab University in the year 1957. He earned his LLB degree from University of Delhi, following the footsteps of his father, late Shri Kriparam Agarwal, a distinguished lawyer. He enrolled as an advocate of the Bar Council of Punjab. He started practice in the office of his father, who was a leading advocate on civil side in Gurgaon and Palwal. While he was in practice, he cleared the Judicial Service Examination in the year 1964 in the joint Punjab state. He joined the Punjab Public Service Commission in November 1965 as subordinate judge cum registrar at Narnaul, and after 6 months he was posted at Mahendragarh. In 1967, when the state of Haryana was carved out, Justice Gupta was assigned to the Haryana Judicial Service, and thereafter in the year 1968, he was transferred to Hisar, where he discharged his duties as Judicial Magistrate First Class and Civil Judge First Class. In 1969, he joined the Delhi Judicial Service as subordinate judge cum registrar and was absorbed therein in the year 1971. He worked as Sub-Judge First Class, Additional Rent Controller, Additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate, Presiding Judge, Labour Court, and Chief Metropolitan Magistrate till 24th March 1979. Subsequently, in March 1979, he was appointed as Additional District and Session Judge, Delhi. He also discharged duties as a special judge to try offences under the Prevention of Corruption Act, narcotics violation cases, and cases under TADA Act. On 10th November 1994, Justice Gupta was elevated as an additional judge of the Delhi High Court. Soon thereafter, on 16th December 1994, he was transferred to Calcutta High Court, in tune with the policy then in vogue. The loss of this court was the gain of the Calcutta High Court. After serving as a judge of the Calcutta High Court for a period of 1.5 years, he was appointed as permanent judge on 21st December 1995. He was later transferred to Madhya Pradesh High Court at main seat at Jabalpur on 6th May 1996. He worked at the Madhya Pradesh High Court till his retirement on 1st December 1999. Justice Gupta strictly believed in and practiced the principle of exclusivity and aloofness for a judge. As a result, he was averse to the idea of mingling socially with people who were not known to him personally. He was very particular in ensuring that no one ever raises a finger on his impartiality. After his retirement, he started his practice as a senior advocate before the Supreme Court of India. He even presided over Lok Adalats in Delhi High Court and in a permanent Lok Adalat for electricity bill disputes. Justice Gupta was a noble soul, an upright judge, and a warm human being with integrity as his bedrock. He was an open book. His life could be summed up in a few words: simple, virtuous, generous, and affable. His judgment of events, people, and circumstances were never influenced or clouded by his personal likes or dislikes or preferences. His trait of honesty and integrity is one personality trait that is remembered by everyone who ever interacted with him. He was a strict vegetarian and a teetotaler. His exploits in athletics brought many medals to his school and college. In his youth, Justice Gupta was a keen athlete and hockey player. He was the captain of the college hockey team. He took pride in displaying his team photos and trophies that he won in competitions. Justice Gupta loved traveling, which he continued to undertake till his demise. He traveled the length and breadth of India, and there was hardly a state that he did not visit. He was a born naturalist, and gardening was his hobby. Justice Gupta left for his heavenly abode on 1st January 2022. At the age of 84, he is survived by his wife, Savita Gupta, his daughter, Mrs. Anita Agarwal, a qualified advocate, currently a homemaker, his son-in-law, Dr. Satish Kumar Agarwal, Chairman, Department of Pediatric Surgery, Sir Gangaram Hospital, his son, Anup Kumar Gupta, who is a chartered accountant, his daughter-in-law, Dr. Rakhi Gupta, who is a gynecologist at Max Hospital, and his grandchildren. His sad demise has created a void not just for his family and friends, but for the entire legal fraternity at large. I, on behalf of my sister and brother judges, and on my own behalf, convey our heartfelt condolences to the members of the bereaved family and pray to Almighty to give them strength to bear this irreparable loss. May the Almighty bestow peace upon the departed soul.
Honorable the Acting Chief Justice, Justice Vipin Sanghi, Justice Siddharth Matul, Justice Manmohan, Justice Shakdar, Justice Suresh Kair, Justice Mukta Gupta, all esteemed judges of this Honorable Court, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, and all office bearers of the Association, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman, Enrollment Committee, Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Sanjay Lau, Standing Counsel Criminal, Mr. Santosh Tripathi, Standing Counsel Civil, all assembled senior advocates, members of the bar, family members of late Justice P.N. Nag and late Justice R.P.GUPTA. We have assembled here to pay obeisance and pay homage to the memory of these two honorable judges who adorned this honorable court. Justice P.N. Nag was born on the 5th of March, 1933. He was an arts graduate from the Government Degree College at Dharamsala, and as said by Justice Sanghi, he came from a very humble background, but he rose due to dint of his own ambition and his hard work. He completed his graduation from Government Degree College, Dharamshala. As said by Justice Sanghi, the college was located at about a distance of 22 kilometers from his village, Shahpur. He would often tread on foot to reach his college so that he could save on the bus fare. Such was his keenness to make it big and put in all the hard work. He was active in student politics and was elected as president of the Dharamshala College Students Association. And despite being born in a humble background, he chose to appear in the civil services where he cleared the written examination but could not pass the muster of the interview. That did not deter him, and he appeared in the examination of the direct recruit assistants in the Government of India, passed the examination, served in the Government of India as an assistant for about 6 years, and having been endorsed with a fiercely independent nature, a 10-to-5 job did not suit him. He decided to enroll himself in law in the evening classes of Delhi University, and he would often ride on his bicycle to go to the university from Gold Market, where he resided. The legal profession beckoned him. He resigned his job, started his legal practice in 1965 by enrolling himself as an advocate. Initially, he practiced in the district court Dharamshala for a year or so, and thereafter shifted to the High Court of Shimla in 1966. He found his calling in the High Court between the year 1966 and 1971. It was the Delhi High Court which exercised jurisdiction over the Union Territory of Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Nag got an opportunity to appear before stalwarts like Justice H.R. Khanna, Justice Hardy, and Justice Tatachari. Mr. Nag set up his own private practice and was appointed as legal advisor to the Himachal Pradesh University, Himachal Pradesh Agricultural University, and Mineral and Industrial State Development Corporation, so on and so forth. He was an avid music lover, and I'm told that he was very keen only on listening to songs of Lata Mangeshkar and Nargis. His favorite film was Devdas, which he watched 5 times. He was a keen student and observer of international politics, especially the Soviet Union, its breakup, and I'm sure that the recent events of Ukraine and Russia would have been very enamoring to him, and he would have studied the resurgence of Russia and the manner in which the conflict is taking place and why it is taking place. I'm sure he must be watching from the heavens above of this intense geopolitical shift and sift that is taking place in today's times. He's survived by his sons, one of whom is here, and it's always a pleasure whenever one goes to Shimla to appear in that court. Just when you come up from the High Court, Justice Nag's chamber are directly opposite Hotel Clark's, and you don't have to climb up normally. It's on the roadside, and we are always treated to a great cup of coffee. And the first thing that happens is to talk about Justice Nag and talk about the difference in the credo of Delhi and Himachal, notwithstanding the difference in weather, but the difference in approach of the legal stakeholders who practice. This has been our topic, and we shall always miss Justice Nag. There's one incident which I do remember. Years ago, there was a young advocate. He was appearing in court number 13, where Justice Nag was heading the roster for the MCD DDA cases. And there was a black warrant, as they call it, which means that somebody not paying house tax has to be evicted forcefully. It was wrongly served, and he was wrongly arrayed as a respondent. So the young man shouted his voice out, but unfortunately for him, it was 1:14 by the watch, and it was time to rise for lunch. Justice Nag, too, was perhaps a little bit hungry that day, and he started to rise. The young boy, in his enthusiasm, and fearing for the fact that the family of the petitioner that he was representing would be thrown out and the utensils would be scattered on the road, became emotional, and he made a higher pitch than what is normally made out in court. Having done that, Justice Nag brushed him aside and rose. The usher came in from the back, and out of his exuberance or his excitement, the young lawyer remonstrated to the usher to go back and said that the judge's lunch is not more important than somebody's family being uprooted illegally. Justice Nag left in a whiff. But having said that, in the evening, or probably the next day, he called the young advocate and said, look here, young man, the way you behaved yesterday was totally unbecoming of you as an officer of the court, and this could jeopardize your career. I'm not the one to take up any cudgels any further, but be cautioned that even if you may have a genuine case, there is a limit and a Rubicon line that you would not cross. And having said that, the young man was apologetic, and Justice Nag said, having said that, I also must own up my mistake, and apologized for his non-consideration of the matter in the previous day. Such was Justice Nag. Perhaps you would not know of that. Such was Justice Nag and his demeanor. And the fact was that goodness prevailed then. It's not as if we always remember that goodness was only belonging to the good old times and we reminisce about them. No, goodness is still very much here. It all depends on how we look at it. We condole the death of Justice Nag. Justice R.P.GUPTA was born on 1st of December 1937, entered the judicial service in 1965 in the erstwhile joint state of Punjab, and worked as a subordinate judge cum registrar during 65 to 69. He joined the Delhi Judicial Service as a subordinate judge and was absorbed there in 1971. He worked as a sub-judge first class, additional gun controller, additional chief metropolitan magistrate, and as a presiding officer in the Labour Court. He was appointed as the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate Delhi and worked as such till 24th of March 1979. Justice Gupta belonged to Gurgaon. He was appointed as a district and session judge in 1979, and so on and so forth. Justice Sanghi has dilated on the factual aspect of his career. I had a personal small chat with his son, Mr. R.P.GUPTA, who's a flourishing and practicing chartered accountant, just minutes ago before we assembled. And I'm told that Justice R.P.GUPTA, apart from being a teetotaler vegetarian, was a very religious man, though he was not ritualistic about it. He would not attend parties. He would not pay heed to any of the invitations that normally flood a judge's chamber. He was very aloof in meeting people. And he was the second generation lawyer, having practiced law with his father. He was a courageous judge. For 5 years, he was a TADA designated judge. And he was also heading Patiala House, where there were some unruly happenings regarding the chamber allotment and distribution amongst the lawyers there. He handled that with great aplomb and with great care. In the death of Justice Gupta, we've lost one of the most versatile members of our legal fraternity. It's a grievous loss to the members of his family, though I could see that his son said that he passed away most peacefully during the third wave, and he did not contract COVID. To my question to him, he did not contract COVID. He just had a fall, and within 24 hours, he was as peaceful as peace can be. I, on behalf of the central government standing councils, the senior panel council, all the leaders of the central government, on my personal behalf, condole and pay homage to the memory of Justice R.P.GUPTA and condole their passing away. Om Shanti.
Honorable the Acting Chief Justice of the High Court of Delhi, Justice Vipin Sanghi, Honorable Judges of the Bench of the High Court of Delhi, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Shri Chetan Sharma ji, Mr. Jatan Singh, Mr. Vijat, Vice President, Honorary Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, and the other members of the Executive Committee, former office bearers of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, senior advocates, Shri Santosh Tripathi and Shri Sanjay Lau, standing counsels for the Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman, Enrollment Committee of the BCD, and the other distinguished members of the Bar Council of Delhi, senior counsels and dear members of the Bar, friends and family of late Justice P.N. Nag ji and late Justice R.P.GUPTA ji, ladies and gentlemen. We gather here today to pay homage and profound tribute to the two legal stalwarts of the 90s bench, Justice P.N. Nag and Justice R.P.GUPTA. On this heartfelt and solemn occasion, we mourn the passing of the departed souls and stand in unison with their family members and friends. But as we do so, we are reminded and taken back to the days of their illustrious and profound journey as judges of the Delhi High Court. Honestly, I had no occasion to either appear before them or interact with these honorable judges, but I believe those who had appeared during the days of the 90s before these benches would consider themselves to have had complete fulfillment and contentment during the intense exchanges in the matters heard before my lords. My information flows from my seniors and from my father, who had occasion to interact as well as appear before both of them. My only meeting with Justice Nag was through his son Anuj, who happened to be my contemporary at the Campus Law Center, Delhi. And I remember when I had gone to invite him, I was in complete awe of him. I had to invite him for a seminar at the CLC. Justice Nag retired in 1995, and that was the time when Justice R.P. Gupta took oath as a judge of this court and was soon transferred thereafter to Calcutta High Court. Albeit their respective runs as judges, the aura of unity and oneness created in this grand hall of Court Number 1 can be felt amongst all those who appeared within their courts during that period. It is with a heavy heart that we bid goodbye to them today. Speaking of my lords doesn't quite as do justice in the same fashion as justice was being served during their days on the bench at the High Court. Their panache, soft-spoken demeanors were respected and appreciated by all those who were fortunate enough to have had a case listed before them in their courts. It is with confidence that I say that the integrity and decorum of the fraternity was well built by having them as judges of this honorable court. It is of paramount importance for the next generation of students who enter this profession to take lead and note of the concise and precise judgments passed by them in order to strengthen their own understandings of law. I'm sure that most of us present here feel a sense of connectedness to the good old days as we speak of the valuable and cherished memories of Justice Nag and Justice Gupta. I, on behalf of the entire Executive Committee of the Delhi High Court Bar and myself, convey my heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of Justice Nag and Justice Gupta. With folded hands, I thank Justice Nag and Justice Gupta for their wholehearted contribution to this institution, which we shall cherish, and the memories that they have left behind with them as we move forward. May God grant eternal peace to the noble souls.
My Lord, Honorable Mr. Justice Bipin Sanghi, the Chief Justice of this Honorable High Court, and other Honorable Judges, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Mr. Abhijat, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Dhan Mohan, Member Executive, and all other office bearers of Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Santosh Tripathi, Additional Standing Counsel Civil, Mr. Bhagwan Swarup Shukla, and all other standing counsels, Mr. Rakesh Khanna, Senior Advocate, former President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. J.P. Singh, Senior Advocate, Mr. Hariharan, Senior Advocate, and all other senior advocates, fellow colleagues at Bar, family members of late Honorable Mr. Justice P.N. Nag and Honorable Justice R.P.GUPTA. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. With profound grief and sorrow, I pay my sincere homage to late Honorable Mr. Justice P.N. Nag and Honorable Mr. Justice R.P.GUPTA. Honorable Mr. Justice P.N. Nag was a pious soul and a great man whose entire life was dedicated to legal fraternity, a devoted and hardworking judge, a kind-hearted person, made him a truly extraordinary personality. Much has already been spoken about the departed souls by previous speakers. I would also like to share something about them. The history of events in the life of Justice P.N. Nag is quite intriguing. He had cleared the written examination for civil service examination, had cleared the examination for Direct Recruit Assistant in Government of India, and having not satisfied with anything, he enrolled himself in law in Delhi University. He resigned from all his jobs and took up the legal practice in the year 1965. He was very active during his period of advocacy, had been even elected as Vice President of Himachal Pradesh High Court Bar Association. He was even the Advocate General for the state of Himachal Pradesh for 5.5 years. Justice P.N. Nag was appointed as permanent judge of this honorable court in the year 1988. He is still known for his humility, kindness, and a straightforward nature. I got several opportunities to appear before his lordship, and it was really nice to appear before him. His son, Anuj, was with us in Campus Law Center, and through Anuj also we came to know about the humility of Honorable Justice P.N. Nag. Honorable Justice Mr. R.P. Gupta had been quite an impressive personality that could leave anyone in way of him He never showed his anger or restlessness over the junior lawyers who appeared in front of him. Speaking about late Justice R.P. Gupta, I would like to quote, "What we have done for ourselves alone dies with us. What we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal." Such was the personality of Justice R.P. Gupta. The orders and judgments passed by Honorable Justice R.P. Gupta speak volumes about his intent, which infused faith for law in the eyes of common people. Justice R.P. Gupta was elevated as permanent judge of this honorable court just 1.5 years of his appointment as additional judge. I had chance to meet him and came to know various intricacies of law in the matters. Such was the personality of late Justice P.N. Nag and Mr. Justice R.P.GUPTA. I, on my behalf and the members of the Bar Council of Delhi and entire legal fraternity, convey my sincere condolence to both the bereaved families and pray to God that the departed souls may rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Honorable Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, Justice Bipin Sanghi, Honorable Justice Siddharth Midul, Honorable Justice Manmohan, Honorable Justice Rajiv Shakdhar, Honorable Justice Suresh Kumar Kat, Honorable Justice Mukta Gupta, Honorable Justice Nazmi Waziri, all the esteemed judges of the Honorable Delhi High Court, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General, Union of India, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, other office bearers of the association, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman, Enrollment Committee, Delhi Bar Council, Mr. Sanjay Lau, Standing Counsel, Criminal, GNCTT, Delhi, all the ASCs, civil and criminal side of Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Rakesh Khanna, Senior Advocate, former Vice President, former President of Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. J.P. Singh, Senior Advocates, other senior advocates assembled here, respected member of the bar, family member of the late Justice P.N. Nag and late Justice R.P. Gupta. Today, we have assembled here to pay homage to late Justice P.N. Nag, a former judge of this honorable court who left for his heavenly abode on 11 September 2021, and late Justice R.P. Gupta, a former judge of the Honorable Delhi High Court who left for his heavenly abode on 1st January 2022. Justice P.N. Nag was born on 5th March 1933. He was an art graduate from Government Degree College, Dharamshala. Justice Nag passed the direct recruit assistant examination and served in Government of India as assistant for the 6 years. While doing his job, he studied law in the evening classes of Delhi University. In the year 1965, Justice Nag resigned from the job and joined the legal profession. He got enrolled as an advocate in the March 1965 and practiced in the district courts Dharamshala from 1965 to 1966. He practiced in the Delhi High Court, he practiced in the High Court at Shimla since 1966 and the Supreme Court since 1981. On 5th May 1983, Justice Nag was appointed as an Advocate General of Himachal Pradesh. Justice Nag was appointed as a permanent judge of this honorable court on 12th October 1988. He retired on 5th March 1995. While his single-minded devotion to the work was legendary and much is spoken about, a very few people would know that Justice Nag overcame heavy odds at a very young age to reach where he did. True to his humble beginning, Justice Nag remained deeply concerned for the underprivileged and the destitutes. He would not miss any opportunity to help such people as best as he could. Justice Nag shouldered the responsibility of judicial office with dignity, uprightness, and independence by crusading against the public accountability and abuse of the power. He also presided a tribunal constituted to ban the dreaded LTTE and other tribunal to ban Islamic seduction under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. After his retirement in the year 1995, Justice Nag was appointed as a president of the Himachal Pradesh State Consumer Commission, where he worked for 9 July 1996 to 5th March 2000. He also held the additional charge of Backward Classes Commission for Himachal Pradesh. Justice Nag left an indelible mark on account of his legal acumen. His judgments are crisp, clear, and in a very simple language. Justice Nag always adhered to his principal. His single-minded devotion to the work was legendary. In the death of Justice P. N. Nag, we have lost one of the most versatile members of the legal fraternity. Today, I, on behalf of Government of NCT of Delhi and my team representing the Government of NCT of Delhi in this Honorable High Court, and on my own behalf, express my heartfelt condolences to the family members of late Justice P. N. Nag. May God give them strength to bear this irretrievable loss and bestow peace to the departed soul. Justice R.P. Gupta was born on 1st December 1937. He entered judicial services in November 1965 in the erstwhile joint Punjab state and worked as a subordinate judge cum registrar during 1965 to 1969. In the 1969, he joined Delhi Judicial Services as subordinate judge and was absorbed there in 1971. Justice Gupta worked as sub-judge first class additional rent controller, additional chief metropolitan magistrate, and as presiding officer, labor court. He was appointed as chief metropolitan magistrate Delhi and worked as such till 24th March 1979. Justice Gupta was appointed as a district and session judge in March 1979. On 16th December 1994, he was appointed as an additional judge of Calcutta High Court. Justice Gupta was appointed as a permanent judge on 21st December 1995. On 6th May 1996, he was transferred to the Madhya Pradesh High Court. As a guardian of Constitution, Justice Gupta applies his judicial acumen in a series of judgments to protect the basic rights that all persons are entitled to. His personal convictions and desire to render services to the country and society led him to take up different judicial posts. Justice Gupta was jurist in complete sense of the term. He lived a life of law and justice. Justice R.P. Gupta was a man of extraordinary professional integrity and competence. He was uninfluenced by any extraneous thoughts and consideration in discharge of his duties. In the death of Justice R.P. Gupta, we have lost one of the most versatile members of the legal fraternity. His death must be grievous loss to the member of his family. I, on behalf of Government of NCT of Delhi and my team representing the Government of NCT of Delhi in this Honorable High Court, and my own behalf, express my heartfelt condolences to them and pray to God to give them strength to bear this loss. May the Almighty bestow peace to the departed soul. Thank you.
As a mark of respect to the departed souls, we shall now observe silence for 2 minutes. Sorry. As a mark of respect to the departed souls, the working in the court is adjourned for the rest of the day.